Good evening, Otherworldlies. This is Queen Juliana, your dark mask diva. Okay, I'm going to tell you about my day, you guys. Okay, today was leg day. I walked all over the city. I walked for miles and miles. It took all day. Okay, so what I wanted to do today was challenge myself to, walk for miles. I made a day of it. I walked all over the place. So, I wanted to just kind of push myself beyond my limits of what I normally do. So I was, outside during the day in the sun. And I actually got rained on a little bit today. And so I was in different elements of the weather. I was in the sun. I was in the rain. Doing different things today, shopping, sitting, walking, just doing a lot of different things today. So what I did was I would have to walk a lot, and then because I'm doing a lot more than I usually do, I would have to sit and rest a lot. So that's kind of what you have to do sometimes, is when you're pushing yourself, you have to kind of sit and rest, right? Because that's kind of, when your body says, okay, time to rest, you got to sit and rest. So, I'm walking for, many city blocks, and I would have to sit and take a rest for a little while. So I'd sit and rest for, like maybe less than 5 minutes, and I would get up and I would walk many city blocks and then take another less than 5 minutes rest and then get up and go again. Okay, so here's some things that would happen. I would run into a lot of people, and they'd smile at me, and I'd smile back, and stuff like that. And here's the thing, I don't mind when a handsome man smiles at me and then he just keeps it pushing, because I kind of take that as a compliment, right? The thing is I don't want him to stop and talk to me, though, because I'm taken, I'm happily taken. So I just kind of take that as a compliment when a handsome man just kind of smiles at me and keeps going. So I'm like, okay, good. That's a compliment. But what I don't like, okay, now what I don't like is when I'm exercising, or when I'm just sitting down doing anything and I'm out in public and a guy's just staring at me. Now, what I was talking about in my last video is, when a lady's at the gym, and a guy should not talk to a lady at the gym, okay, because she's exercising. She's working on her gains. She's working on, building that muscle and burning those calories, and, just kind of, changing her physicality, and just doing whatever she can to get into shape. So that's a really self-conscious thing, and that's a thing where you're really having to push yourself and exert yourself, and it's a really self-conscious time. And it's also really, if you want to think about it too, you're really going through, women are emotional, okay? I'm very emotional. So you're going through, you're exerting yourself, you're tired, you're getting that endorphin rush, but sometimes you're just getting that, level of exhaustion as well. So you're going through a lot of emotional ups and downs. You're having to burn a lot of calories. You're really having to push yourself. You're really having to motivate yourself. So you're really going through a lot. You really don't want somebody making you feel self-conscious, like you're being watched. Okay, so what I'm doing is basically, when I'm doing this, it's kind of like being at the gym. It's a leg day. Okay, so I was wearing a t-shirt, right, and I'm wearing some sweatpants and some Vans and stuff like that. So it's not like I'm wearing a dress and some heels or anything like that. I'm not dressed up. I just look regular. So I'm walking, several city blocks and sitting down. I'm sitting down on a bench, I'm sitting down on some concrete steps on a church, I'm sitting down wherever I can afford to sit down at. Sometimes I'll sit down at a cafe, but sometimes if there's no really good place to sit down, I'll have to sit down on some steps or something. It really just depends on where I can sit down, where I'm just allowed to sit down, So I went and sat down on some steps in a church, and I'm just like, I'm just like sitting there exhausted, right? And I look, and there's this guy unloading his truck across the street. I guess, I don't know if that's at his house, or I don't know what's going on. But the guy, I guess you would just, the best way to describe him, and, I'm going to describe him in an unflattering manner, but the best way to describe him is middle-aged. Okay, and you're probably thinking, Juliana, aren't you an older person too? Okay, I'm going to describe him unflatteringly. He looks middle-aged. Okay, people tell me I don't look middle-aged. Okay, he looks middle-aged. Okay, so and he just keeps staring at me, and I'm sitting there, on the steps of this church. I'm just kind of rearranging my shopping bags and everything, and just kind of going through my purse. I'm texting my fiance, and just kind of telling him where I am, and just kind of checking in with him, and telling him about my day, and saying, okay, I'm on the corner of this place and this place, and my ETA is at this time. And just kind of telling him about my day, and yeah, I'm really tired, but I'm going to keep pushing myself, and that kind of thing. And this guy, he just keeps staring at me, right? And he's not staring at me like I'm a weirdo, because of the orange hair. He's just staring at me like, that stare, like when somebody thinks you're fine, and, like when a guy's staring at you. You guys know what I'm talking about. And he just keeps staring at me. And I get it. He probably can't see my ring from across the street. I get it. But he just keeps staring at me. And I'm exhausted. I mean, I'm just kind of like, I trudged over like, ugh. I'm sitting down on those church steps. And I'm just exhausted. I'm just sitting there like, oh my gosh. Ugh. And I'm just kind of like, and it took me a long time to find somewhere where I can just finally sit down and just rest. And he just won't stop, and I just keep going. And I'm just getting annoyed because he won't stop going. Staring at me, and you ladies know what I'm talking about, right? I've been in situations where I've been in a restaurant trying to eat my meal, doing whatever, and just had a guy who just wouldn't stop staring at me, and I would have to just get my food to go and leave. I've moved in a different spot in the restaurant so the man would stop staring, and the man would get up and move to a different spot in the restaurant so he can keep staring at me. I mean, I've had situations like that where I would just have to pack up my stuff and leave. Okay, so guys, if you're a guy, and I never have to tell a cute guy this, because cute guys never do this. It's always unattractive men. Unattractive men always stare. Okay? It's never cute guys. Cute guys will just smile at you and keep it going. Okay? I have to tell unattractive men to stop staring. Okay, so if you think you might be unattractive, and even if you're not, you need to stop staring at women, okay? Because not only did that make me uncomfortable, I was also exercising. Okay, so this was kind of like I was at the gym. All right, unattractive men, you need to stop staring at women. Men need to stop staring at women, period. Okay, we don't like it. We don't like it. And I know you men think that you would like it if women would stare at you. If a woman is staring at you, she's either a hooker or she's a transgender, because women don't stare at men. Okay, unless they're trying to make some money or they're a man in a dress. Okay, because that's an unfeminine thing to do. Okay, it's really creepy when you're staring at a woman. Okay, it does not make us feel good. And my body was sore, and I could barely move, but I had to get all my stuff, and I could barely move, but I got up and I left this situation because that man was making me so uncomfortable. You guys have got to stop staring. I mean it. It was bad, and I had to keep going, and I went around the corner because that guy was right there. I had to leave the situation to where he just couldn't see me anymore. And then I found another place to sit down that was nearby there where he couldn't see me. So you guys need to stop staring. Women really hate that. And even if you're a cute guy, but I don't have to tell cute guys this. Cute guys never stare. I always have to tell unattractive men to stop staring. I've never seen a situation where an attractive man stares. It's always a guy who isn't cute. It's always, a guy that nobody wants. And, I wasn't sitting there looking all sexy or anything. I was just sitting there just feeling exhausted. And he was like, I mean, it was really bad. And I don't know what else to say about it. If you're a guy that stares, you need to stop doing that. Okay? It was really just, he was really a psycho for doing that. So, guys, don't stare at women. Okay? Especially, if they've been exercising, if they just go sit down somewhere random, pretend you don't see them. Seriously. You need to not do that, because that made me extremely uncomfortable, and I was already just physically exhausted, and I had to take the little bit of energy that I had and get myself out of that situation. So you guys don't stare at women. It's not going to make us attracted to you. It's going to make us scared. Okay? So that's all I have to say, and I made it home, and that was a lot of exercise I got today, and I'm really proud of myself. And you guys have a lovely evening, and I will see you in the next content. Bye-bye.